Okay.
Take your seat.
Done.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Hopefully.
You may like to introduce yourself.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Noor Hayat Ranjha. I was born in a family of 5 in the district court moment of in the Tehsil court moment rather of district Sargodha. I did my early education from that small town, and then we moved to Lahore to complete my siblings and my secondary education. I did my O and A levels from Aitchison College, Lahore, and then I went on to complete my bachelor's in electrical and electronics engineering from Middle East Technical University, Northern Cyprus campus, Turkey. My experiences in Aitchison were profound. I had the honor of being the school prefect and the editor of the college publication, The Aitchisonian. And there I learned some new sports as well, squash and horse riding, for instance. And my experiences in Turkey were also very good, since they taught me a lot about independence and self-accountability. And then I came back home. I took the civil service exam. This is my second time. And Allah has been very kind by blessing me in this opportunity.
How many years you have lived in Turkey?
Sir, 4.5 years.
Tell us about the country profile of Turkey. What is the population? What is the area? What is the lot many other things? What is the economy? Why it is called sick man of Europe? Batao.
Right, sir. Sir, historically, Turkey is a very rich country. It is been the cradle of civilizations, from the Romans to the Greeks to the Ottomans and now the modern Turkish Republic. The Turkish people are an ethnic mix of a lot of different ethnicities as well. Nowadays, Turkey is inhabited mostly by Turks, ethnic Turks who have moved from the Anatolian steppes westward into Asia Minor and small part of Europe as well. But there are Kurds also living on their eastern provinces. It was historically called the sick man of Europe because of its declining economy in the 17th century, or rather the 18th century, and a series of wars that it had lost to Russia in the Balkan Wars and in the Crimean Wars, which is why the Ottoman Empire eventually collapsed and gave way to the new Republic of Turkey under Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. They are progressive people, they are hospitable, and they are kind, and they are also a good mix of Eastern and Western ideologies. But currently we see a clash, a social clash between these ideologies, and which gives the current Republic of Turkey that we have. It is a revisionist in a sense that President Erdogan is moving, in my view, against the principles of Kemalism, which were entrenched into the constitution of Turkey after the formation of the new Turkish Republic.
What is the population of Turkey?
Sir, I will read on it, sir. I'm not sure.
Total area?
It's the same.
What is the size of economy of Turkey?
Sir, it has the GDP of 800 billion. It runs a trade positive of 5 billion, trade surplus rather. And its biggest exports are that of machinery and vehicles, and that too to Europe. It is in the process of joining the EU. However, that dream seems a little bit extended.
There is a canal running between, there is a canal of Turkey which is connecting the Mediterranean and what is the name of that canal?
So it's the Bosphorus Canal.
Bosphorus
Yes,
Canal.
sir.
And they are constructing another canal.
Yes, sir.
What is the name of that canal?
So it's Istanbul Canal.
So what is the progress?
Sir, it is a 20 billion project heralded by President Erdogan, and it has its links in history because the Montreux Doctrine.
They have started the construction?
Yes, sir, they have. But there is backlash against it as well, since it will turn Asian Istanbul into an virtual island. It is going on.
How much revenue they have started collecting from this Bosphorus Canal?
Sir, they have not yet, since after completion.
But they have notified it?
I'll read more on it, sir. I'm not exactly sure how much they plan to earn from it.
What are the alternative sources of energy? You are an electrical engineer, especially with reference to Pakistan, which we can exploit.
Sir, I believe that Pakistan is on the right trajectory, since it is banking on the hydro power energy. And Pakistan, being the source of the Indus Valley civilization, has huge potential in that regard. Also being a nuclear power like France, that has 70% of its energy running through the nuclear power plants, Pakistan can also exploit it. Wind energy is another resource that Pakistan is utilizing, and solar energy, especially in the coastal areas of the Makran coast and Karachi. I believe we are on the right track. Time will eventually prove it.
Whereas the COP28 is happening.
Sir, it is being taken place in Expo City, Dubai, headed by Sultan Ahmad Al Jaber, who is the head of the COP28.
What do COP25, what they stand for?
Sir, it is a conference of parties and the 28th edition of that meeting.
What is the focus and theme of this conference?
Sir, the general focus is about correcting the environmental problems that are being created. It was formed after the UNFCCC, United Nations Charter on Climate Change. And the current issue is how to fund the loss and damage fund that is principally agreed by all nations, and how to sustain it in order to help countries who are at the brunt of the problems. For instance, Pakistan and Nigeria had a lot of floods last year in 2022. So that is the main theme.
Okay, thank you. Please, sir.
PAS is your first choice.
Yes, sir.
There is a word S. SS means service, Pakistan Administrative Services.
Sir.
Is it just a word, or there's something more to it?
Sir, the nomenclature has changed from DMG in the past to PAS, and that is, I believe, the spirit of this question.
Service.
Service, yes, sir.
Service.
Yes, sir.
It just completes PAS, S, or there is something more in it?
Sir, I believe it is a service, since it is very expansive, and DMG used to be only controlling the districts or administering the districts. Now, this is service in the federal level, in different departments as well, and in the provincial.
Service denote?
Sir, it denotes the public service delivery and its oversight, which is done by PAS officers. For instance, they work in the health sector, in the energy sector, in the agriculture sector, in other departments like IT also. So it is a collection of services provided or administered by the officers of this group.
What is the basic functional unit of the police department?
So that would be a police station.
Yes. So how important is the working of police station for the police and for the general public?
Yes, sir. So police station is the primary source of interaction with the public. Police itself is also a service. Now, Police Order 2002 was a move of changing the colonial structure of police, which was based on the Irish constabulary model in 1860 by the British colonialists, to a Japanese community policing service that was envisaged in the Police Order 2002. And that aimed to change the public perception of the police. In that context, police has taken some revolutionary steps. For example, the Khidmat Markaz try to give service at your buttons click, as they say, that they provide services virtually. And also there are special centers for transgenders recently that try to ease the problems that they are facing in the society. There are protection for women. Model police stations are also another link to this whole chain of thought that tries to change the service structure of police in a sense of delivering better.
Certain measures have been there are certain measures mentioned in the Police Order 2002 to improve the working of the police, to make it more transparent and responsible. What are those? I mean, with respect to Police Order 2002.
Right, sir. So first, it pins responsibility on the police. For instance, a policeman on duty has to help any stranded person.
No. If you don't say, I don't know. You are explaining just in general terms. I wanted you to be specific. What are those instruments mentioned in the Police Order 2002, right, which will make the police more responsible?
Yes.
And the working will be more transparent? So that is my question.
Yes, sir. I understand it now, sir. I misunderstood. Earlier, it is the liaison committees, the citizen oversight of the police at the national, district, and at the provincial level. The specific name is, I am forgetting that.
Public Safety Commission.
Public Safety
Commission.
National.
And provincial public safety.
It is based on the Japanese model. They also have their public safety commissions.
What is the police hierarchy at the provincial level?
So there are junior officers and there are senior officers, starting from
Police hierarchy.
Yes, sir. Starting from senior officers is inducted through ASP, then we have SP, then we have SSP, DIG, AIG, and IG, sir.
Has our political system, do you think, has failed in bringing about progress and stability in the country?
Sir, for sure it is struggling at the moment, but I believe that evolutionary process will take the political process further. Some flaws that I see in the political system are political polarization between parties, non-democratic nature of political parties, the politicians not strengthening the parliament and resorting to agitational politics and strengthening street politics instead of making decisions in the parliament through lawmaking. So these are some problems that I see are a problem in the political system.
What can you propose to revitalize this system and put it on progressive lines?
Sir, I will urge the political leaders to act responsibly. There has to be national political parties who, because democracy is the spirit of consensus, and consensus is what needs to take the country of different ethnicities and political thoughts forward. Also, there needs to be an understanding between the civil and the military leadership on the model of the National Security Council, the National NCOC that acted very perfectly in the state of crisis, and also the recent anti-smuggling drives that have taken place is a model for Pakistan to emulate further in the future, so that progressive steps can be taken in this regard and politicians can be strengthened in this context, sir.
Okay. Why the squash standards have fallen so badly in our country?
Sir, I believe that first of all, squash needs to be introduced in the college and the school level to encourage the raw talent coming out. And we have to provide a structure for players who pursue this sport to provide them a good living. For instance, there is lack of sponsorship by private groups also, because there is lack of training on a scientific level. The players need to have physios and trainers. We do have courts at the provincial level, but however, there is lack of modern training and gym work and work ethic, and also the eating habits need to be inculcated, since the sport has transformed a lot in the recent years, and all these nutritional aspects need to be taken care of. So national policy needs to be made in this regard, sir.
Welcome to CSPs Academy for CSS PMS preparation. CSS PMS तहरीरी इम्तिहान के तमाम मज़ामीन की ऑनलाइन और ऑन कैंपस तैयारी के साथ साथ सब्जेक्ट सिलेक्शन, असाइनमेंट चेकिंग, क्लास टेस्ट, मॉक एग्जाम, इंडिविजुअल टीचर डिस्कशन और फीडबैक सेशन का इनकाद किया जाएगा। इसके अलावा FPSC की तजवीज़ करदा बुक्स से बने मयारी नोट्स और CSP पब्लिशर की बेहतरीन बुक्स मुहैया की जाएंगी।
Noor Hayat Ranjha, your favorite person is Antonio Guterres. Where is Monsieur Guterres from?
Madam, he is Portuguese.
And why do you like him?
Madam, because his whole history, becoming two-time Prime Minister, serving 2 times Prime Minister of Portugal, and also head of his political parties, he had some very progressive stance. Also, he is an electrical engineer as well, studying from a university in Lisbon. He headed a socialist program that wanted to end the economic disparity between the rich and the poor, and also his stance on refugees while he served in the United Nations for 10 years. As the United Nations the refugees ambassador, and also his current stance on climate change is very inspiring, and his role in the current Israeli war on Palestine is also something that we see with clarity is a just voice and humanitarian leadership that we see very less often in the world.
What about Kashmir?
Sorry, ma'am?
What about Kashmir?
Yes, ma'am. His views on Kashmir, sir?
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm not much informed. I'll read more on it.
Okay. You read Why Nations Fail. Do you agree with the book?
Yes, ma'am, I do agree with the book.
Are those the only reasons why a nation fail, or do you think there's something more to it?
Madam, some reasons that are listed there are institutions, and I think that is the core problem. It discusses other theories as well and debunks philosophers like Ibn Khaldun, who gives environmental theory, and also Montesquieu, who gives an environmental theory that warmer temperate region people are lazy and they are unintellectual because of the climate. He says it is not the climate, geography, or the lay of the land which makes institutions or countries prosper. It is actually institutions. And then he derives it to the colonial history of certain countries. For instance, America is progressive in North America because English institutions were more inclusive, and South America is decadent in economic field because Spanish institutions of encomiada were more extractive. And I think that is the root problem. But the tone is optimistic. He believes that the authors believe that this vicious cycle can be broken and has been broken in the American South after the Civil War. The extractive institutions in the American South were broken, and now it is incorporated in the inclusive institution of America as a whole.
What is the situation of the natives in USA? Why do they not have institutions to protect the rights of the natives?
Madam, the natives have been at the brunt of colonialization. They have been pursued by American military and their economic interests driven off their lands. But
pursued or persecuted?
Persecuted is the better word. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Is the right word actually.
Okay. Ranjha Ranjha karde mein aape Ranjha hui. Can you explain this?
Yes, madam. It is from Heer Waris Shah's book also. It says that how Heer falls in endless love with Ranjha, and then she sees herself only with union with Ranjha, and that her own identity diminishes in front of him.
So how do you explain it in philosophical terms?
Well, there is, madam, according to Spinoza, it can also be taken in the view of Wahdatul Wujud, which is that the universe and nature are one, and the mind and body is also one. That the truth of everything is God itself, and everything else that we associate names is temporary and transient.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saab.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, Noor Hayat, Albert Einstein, he considers one of his statement as the biggest of his blunder. Can you explain that? What was his biggest blunder?
It is the atomic?
No, about the universe.
It is the general theory of relativity.
No. Well, in your interview, talk about Byzantine. Who was Byzantine?
Sir, Byzantine is a later name given to the Eastern Roman Empire. At the time, they called themselves Roman empires. The city of...
Do you know about the Emperor Byzantine? Something about the Emperor Byzantine?
Not so
you don't know about the
specifically. No, sir.
Okay. What is major difference? When schism happened between Roman Empire and it divided into Eastern Roman Empire and Western Roman Empire?
Yes, sir. The Great Schism happened in 1055 AD, and it was when the Western Catholic Church got separated from the Orthodox Patriarch from Constantinople.
And what was the base and what was the reason behind this schism, Great Schism?
Sir, the reason was different ideologies, but there was also geopolitical reasons as well.
Fine, that's fine. Pretty good. In Republic, Plato discussed about 3 classes. Can you discuss those classes?
Yes, sir. The first is the guardian class. That separates into the philosopher king and the auxiliaries. And then we have the peasant class, the warrior class, the second, which are run by the virtue of courage. And then we have the peasant class or the artisan class.
And what was his justice in the society?
His justice was based on tripartite division of the soul and the state also, that everybody is given to what he deserves or what he wants to do in life.
And what is the job and duty nature of philosopher king?
Sir, it is to ensure that the state is virtuous, one, and number 2, that everybody lives a happy life, which is the good life, because he alone knows what the good life is, because he's a philosopher.
Keeping in mind the history of subcontinent, can you name some philosophers king? Because you have read Plato as well, so he thinks differently about the philosophers king. Can you name some philosophers king in Indian history?
Sir, I think Ashoka from the Gupta Empire considered himself a philosopher king.
And
other than that, sir, I would believe Bahadur Shah Zafar.
Bahadur Shah Zafar?
Sir, because he wrote poetry and...
Okay, leave it. Okay, consider you have a tool of utilitarian philosophy, utilitarianism as a tool, and you're supposed to be a reformer. How you will rectify political problems, ills of Pakistan?
Sir, first of all, is that I will increase taxation, because only through taxation can the government.
This is against the principle of utilitarianism.
Sir, if we see that greater.
What is the principle of utilitarianism?
Sir, the basic principle is greater benefit for a greater number of people. And in the
will convince the people to give more taxes?
Yes, sir. In the holistic level, if their taxes are judiciously spent, I believe it helps them in the long run.
You're idealist or realist?
Sir, I incline more towards the idealism.
So that is why you are saying this.
Yes, sir.
Now you got it?
Yes,
what
sir.
I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now then, what is the take of utilitarian philosophy or utilitarianism on the evolution of government or state?
Sir, it considers the formation of state as an evolutionary and a necessary measure, so that people could, as other contractualists thought, that people could live in a life of security and their natural rights could be protected under a government, a constitution, and they could live a happy life under law and security. As Hobbes considered that the state of nature is a war of everyone against everyone else. And to protect this fundamental right of security of life, the state forms. So I think utilitarian principle also takes a leaf from Hobbes' page, and that is that the state is necessary to provide maximum benefit to the maximum number of people through laws, through deriving a political theory, and the moral code is also based on this principle.
Do you know that Montesquieu got inspiration from some political system? Which political system he got inspiration for propounded his celebrated theory, separation of power and system of check and balance?
So the American political system derives its inspiration from Montesquieu, and Montesquieu derives it.
कहाँ से derive किया था?
So the English political system.
Do you think that there is a system of separation of power?
So there is no absolute separation of power in England, since Parliament is more supreme to other institutions.
Okay, good. Do you think there is a relation between Magna Carta and Declaration of Independence in America?
Yes, sir. Magna Carta in 1215 was the first instance that the absolute power of the king was checked by the nobles, and the principle was established that certain rights the king cannot impinge upon. And this principle was ideally propounded by the founding fathers of the United States of America.
Okay, I got it. What is significance of Government of Indian Penal Act 1837 in Indian history?
Sir, I'll read on it, sir. I'm not sure.
Okay. Can you tell me that why Indian National Congress rejected Cripp's proposal?
Sir, as Gandhi is quoted as saying, a mouthpiece of the Congress, that it is a post-dated check of a failing bank. The Cripp's mission came at a time of World War II when Britain was apparently losing to the German side. And they considered that the concessions given by Cripp's mission was too few. And it provided dominant status after the war, and constitutional reform that we saw came later were too few to placate the nationalism, the Indian nationalism that had exploded during the war.
Fine, that's pretty good. My last question: when 49th parallel established, in which year? What is 49th parallel?
Sir, it is the division line between Canada and America.
When it established?
Sir, I
38 parallel.
So 38 parallel is the North Korean and the South Korean line.
Kab established?
Sir, in 1954, by the end of Korean War.
Good.
Thank you very much. I think you did well.
Thank you, sir.
Let's conclude this formal session. Let's have an informal discussion. There are good things and some of the areas which we will be able to identify, and then you need to look into those seriously. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You do create
Yes, sir.
impact of your presence in the interview.
Thank you, sir.
Introduction आपका it is too short. You need to work on it.
Right, sir.
One pager लिखो, 1 minute में deliver करना सीखो, and it should be based on objectivity.
Right, sir.
ठीक है ना? But you have got something very powerful in your introduction. You have not been able to sell it
Yes, sir.
in a proper way. You need to sell yourself.
Right, sir.
You are selling yourself in the interview. When it comes that they gave you an opportunity. If they ask you to introduce yourself,
Yes, sir.
then this is a time to sell yourself.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, during the course of interview, whenever you get an opportunity to explain yourself, you need to explain.
Yes.
ठीक है ना? If you are prepared, then you will be able to do. Communication skills are good. Keep it up. You are intelligent. Confidence is there. Knowledge level आपका satisfactory है, but you need to keep on working.
Yes, sir. Inshallah.
ठीक है? और sitting posture is fine. Voice का impact जो है वो आपका ठीक आ रहा है. It is clarity है. ठीक है? तो since you have already qualified, देखो बात ये है कि अभी you are the winning horse.
Yes, sir.
पंजाब में it is a very tough competition.
Yes, sir.
And I think you are a winning horse. तो तुम जो है ना फोकस करो न्यूज़पेपर पे
Yes, sir.
और पॉइंट वाइज नोटबुक बनाओ पॉइंट वाइज.
Yes, sir.
जैसे पावर पॉइंट बनाते हैं ना तो 1 2 3 4 पॉइंट होते हैं. एनर्जी सेक्टर है, इकोनॉमी है, उस पर पॉइंट लिखो 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4.
जी सर.
ठीक है ना? तो उनको सुबह उठ के रोज देखो शॉर्ट टॉपिक्स पे. कब है इंटरव्यू तुम्हारा?
Sir, January 1st week.
ओके, यू हैव गॉट टाइम. तो दिस इज समथिंग वेरी गुड.
Yes, sir.
तुम्हारे पास टाइम है.
Yes, sir.
तुम अपनी कम से कम 100 टॉपिक के ऊपर जो करंट इश्यूज है उनके ऊपर तुम्हारी क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए.
जी सर.
ठीक है ना? तो जब तुम कन्वर्स और रोज सुबह उठ के देखो इकोनॉमिक चैलेंजेस क्या है, सोशल इश्यूज क्या है, यूक्रेन क्या है, इजराइल क्या है, थिंग्स लाइक दैट.
जी सर.
ठीक है ना?
इंशाल्लाह सर.
तो आई थिंक यू विल बी एबल टू मेक वेरी गुड मार्क्स. यू कैन कम्पीट वेल.
जी सर. इंशाल्लाह I'll work hard.
लेकिन तैयारी करनी है. तैयारी का मतलब क्या होता है? 8 घंटे रोजाना किताबें पढ़ो, रिव्यू करो, अखबार पढ़ो, ये सारा मिनिमम.
जी सर. इंशाल्लाह.
आप सर
आपने अच्छा इंटरव्यू दिया, अच्छा है. और आप अगर और एफर्ट करें, इम्प्रूव करने की कोशिश करें, यू कैन फेच मोर मार्क्स. विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट. और
बिल्कुल.
Noor Hayat Ranjha, you have a good knowledge base, but I would recommend to do work hard on it. You see, especially why nations fail. There are many aspects that you have missed. So I would recommend you read that. अगर ये भी आपने दे दिया या नहीं दिया?
नहीं दिया मैडम, अभी साइकोलॉजिकल नहीं हुआ.
साइकोलॉजिकल नहीं हुआ ना तो बेटा एक रखो स्पोर्ट. अगर हॉर्स राइडिंग लिख रहे हो तो लेटेस्ट कंपटीशंस क्या हैं, उसके जो है ना कैंटर किस तरह है, जंप कराते हैं उसकी हाइट कितनी है, लेटेस्ट आजकल कौन चैम्पियंस हैं, नेक्स्ट चैम्पियनशिप कहाँ हो रही है, यू नो ऑल दोज थिंग्स यू शुड नो. सेम गोज फॉर स्क्वॉश. इन्होंने तो सिर्फ पूछा ना पाकिस्तान में स्क्वॉश क्यों नहीं हो रहा. स्क्वॉश कोर्ट पे सवाल आ सकता है, स्क्वॉश चैम्पियनशिप पे आ सकता है. So because to limit your time and
Yes,
zero in, I would recommend कि एक पे लिखो. इसी तरह मैंने तो अंतोनियो गुतेरेस पे पूछा, बट आइंस्टाइन पे बहुत सवाल आ सकते हैं, फिजिक्स पे सवाल आ सकते हैं, E=mc² पे आ सकते हैं, क्वांटम थ्योरी पे आ सकते हैं. सो वो एक नई डायमेंशन हो जाएगी. सो अंतोनियो गुतेरेस पे आपको अच्छी नॉलेज है. आइंस्टाइन को निकाल दो क्योंकि वो फिजिक्स का फील्ड जो है. वैसे तो आप इलेक्ट्रिकल हैं, आई एम श्योर यू हैव बेसिक्स नॉलेज ऑफ द फिजिक्स, बट स्टिल आई वुड रिकमेंड कि दिस इज अ कंपटीशन. जितने फ्लैंक्स खोलोगे उतना अटैक होगा, जितने फ्लैंक्स अपने फोकस रखोगे उतना यू आर अ विनिंग हॉर्स. ठीक है? आई विश.
Madam, I'm worried more about the hobbies that I've written. Since horse riding and squash, I do not so enthusiastically because of time constraints.
I could see that ये सिर्फ स्कूल की प्रैक्टिस जो है उसी की वजह से. तो आई वुड रिकमेंड कि ना वो चीज़ लिखो जिसको आप डिफेंड ना कर सको. ठीक है? एक ही चीज़ लिखो और उस पे फिर यू शुड नो एवरीथिंग अबाउट इट.
ठीक है.
ठीक है?
Thank you.
मैं विद योर परमिशन मैंने उसी से रिलेटेड बता देता हूँ थोड़ा सा.
Yes, sir.
जैसे कि ह्यूमन बीइंग्स आर ऑर्गेनिक. जितनी पुरानी एम्पायर्स ने दे वर लाइक ऑर्गेनिक.
Yes, sir.
और अक्सर सर क्वेश्चन पूछा करते हैं कि रोमन एम्पायर के फॉल की कॉजेज वही कॉजेज थी जो मुगल एम्पायर की, वही कॉजेज जो ऑटोमन एम्पायर की हैं. तो इसने भी जो वाई नेशन फेल्स का जो थीसिस है ना वही ऑर्गेनिक चीज के स्ट्रक्चर के गिर्द घूमता है. दूसरी चीज आपने एक बड़ी फेमस कोट आपने कोट भी किया था इंटरव्यू में, देयर इज अ वॉर ऑल अगेंस्ट ऑल. कंपटीशन जो है ये दिस इज अ वॉर ऑल अगेंस्ट ऑल. तो इसमें जैसा कि डार्विन का उसकी थ्योरी का एस्पेक्ट है कि जो फिटेस्ट होगा वो सर्वाइव कर सकता है।
Yes.
आपका बहुत अच्छा इंटरव्यू है, आपने जो आंसर्स दिए हैं उनकी डेप्थ इतनी ज़बरदस्त है कि उसमें बहुत कम स्टूडेंट्स मुझे फेल हुआ।
Thank you, sir.
आपको स्कोर जो है ना 220 से ऊपर करना चाहिए। इसके लिए जो फाइनल जो टचेस है ना, जो यहाँ के अभी जो इंटरव्यू में जो ग्रे एरियाज आपको बताए गए हैं, उनको आपने रिमूव करना है और उनको पॉलिश करना है।
जी सर।
आपने जो आंसर्स दिए वो बहुत अच्छे हैं।
थैंक यू सर।
और बस जो ग्रे एरियाज को थोड़ा सा दोबारा से फोकस कीजिएगा। और जैसे कि अभी वो आइंस्टाइन का ना, ही टॉक दिस कि मेरा ग्रेटेस्ट ब्लंडर था वो यूनिवर्स को स्टैटिक समझता था। आपने फिजिक्स पढ़ी, इसलिए मैडम ने कह भी दिया कि भाई आप उतना खोले ही ना अपने फ्लैंक्स को।
जी सर।
तो फिर जब हबल ने जब थ्योरी दी कि यूनिवर्स इज एक्सपैंडिंग, उसने कहा ये मुझे अंदाजा था लेकिन मैं जो है ना बहुत बड़ा ब्लंडर कर चुका है। तो आप अपनी चीज़ों ऐसे ओपन ही ना करें, ठीक है, कम कर दे उतना आप बोलें, ठीक है।
सर।
और आपने जो है इंडो पाक हिस्ट्री को थोड़ा सा और देख लीजिएगा। मुगल अंपायर से रिलेटेड अक्सर चीज़ें आजकल और डिफरेंट वॉर्स के ऊपर बातें पूछ रही हैं।
ठीक सर।
ठीक है, जैसा कि आपको पता है, आपने बहुत अच्छा आंसर दिया कि अशोका बाजार। इसके अलावा आप कह सकते हैं अलाउद्दीन खिलजी, शेरशाह सूरी,
जी सर,
अकबर, ठीक है।
जी सर।
ये भी फिलोसोफर्स के कह लें उनको, ठीक है। थैंक यू
सर। थैंक यू फॉर दैट।
ओके, विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट।
थैंक यू।